Well, good morning, Kicksters. Welcome back to the Morning Kick this Monday. And you probably saw that we were advertising that this was going to be a mindset episode. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, half of what you do in business today is about keeping your focus, being able to make sure that you're moving forward. But sometimes it's also to know what is the next priority. And this morning we were able to welcome Annette Spurr to the show. Welcome, Annette, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Now, Annette and her husband run a business called Blue Box Media, which we're going to find out about very shortly. But Annette, you gave me a really good topic for this morning. You suggested that we had a look at Thrive in Change. And I picked up something really small but significant. A lot of people talk about thriving through change, but you said thrive in change. And I suddenly thought, this isn't something we should put off. We should be doing it right now. Let's come back to that. But first of all, tell us about Blue Box Media. This is a business that you and your husband have started a few years back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a family business, and we opened the doors of Blue Box Media about 15 years ago. But we both come from media backgrounds, so we've both been working media for over 20 years, and so we bring that wealth of knowledge with us from different sides of media. So Phil's got more of that business mind. He brings that business mindset of media buying and planning and strategy and all that sort of thing. And then I bring the creative side. So I design websites and I've written radio commercials for just about every brand that you can think of, TV commercials and print, digital, whatever you can think of to promote your business. That's what we can help you with.
That sounds like you've got a match made in heaven. So
yes.
You handle the creative side. Phil gets out there and gets the business strategy together, and clients are happy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a great team.
Well, a little bit later, we're going to have a look at Blue Box Media's website and just get a bit of a sense of what you can talk to Annette and Phil about. But starting off this morning, could you give us a bit of an overview of why you gave me that idea, Thrive in Change? Have you been through it yourself?
Oh, yes. I think everyone in media can testify. If you've been in media long enough, you can see that the media landscape today is completely different to what it was 20 plus years ago. When I started out, I was actually working for a company that was started by a couple of ex-radio guys. They'd come out of commercial radio, and they had this idea that we could build a hub for businesses to what they were advertising on radio to have them on a website, because back then, 20 years ago, a website was $40,000 or $50,000. Do you remember that?
The average it was the luxury item, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The average business owner couldn't afford one, so they actually created a community for businesses to promote their weekly specials, and that was the name of the website, weeklyspecials.com.au. So I came on and worked with them as a web designer and working with businesses, helping them develop an online presence. So I was really part of that in the early days, and then moved on from that to a radio station, helped them set up their Facebook page and Twitter accounts, and starting to embrace the digital world. So I really came on at ground zero of developing online presence and social media strategy and all that sort of thing, and it's grown from there. Pardon me. And so now when you look at traditional media, it's been changing and transforming and reinventing over the last 20 years, to the point where now, when you go to your publications to book, you'd be usually, previously you'd be talking about a half-page ad, but now they're talking about video advertising, banner advertising, targeting specific audiences that you can't reach with a print publication. So that our industry has been in a constant state of transformation for 20 plus years. So absolutely love chatting to people about learning to thrive in change, because we certainly have never been able to sit still. It's not a set and forget kind of industry. We've learned to thrive through it.
I think that's a really good point that you make, that you've learned to thrive in it, and also that things are always moving. Now, COVID-19 obviously is one of the big ones. Okay,
Yes.
It's really caught a lot of people out. In some ways, as business owners, we need to be kind of ready to take any direction that may be thrown at us, almost like you're prepared for change. Just before we go, though, and to the next thing, good to see that somebody who knows you, John Wicks, is saying good morning. If you'd like to send us a question, go to the Facebook or YouTube link. You may need to click on the link in our Facebook description so that you can then post a comment, and that will come through, and we'll be able to put you on the show this morning. Annette, what kind of things have you kind of learned in terms of preparing either Blue Box Media or your clients in terms of being ready for change?
Yeah.
I can imagine having your digital assets ready is one thing, but you may even need to adapt those when change comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's looking at messaging. I think for a lot of businesses, even those that are still in market, because a lot of people through the fear of what's going on, the fear of the unknown, have pulled advertising, and Facebook and Google will testify to that. So it's actually, there's never been a better time to be on digital platforms because there's less competition and people have never been more online. Speaking with one of the publications that we work with, they said that their digital subscriptions have increased by 150% during this. I don't think that they would have dreamt of that when they woke up on January 1st, 2020, if they could foresee that. So, you know, they've obviously adjusted to welcome that change. And so, you know, when we're talking through those kinds of things, it's really not ever looking at your business as this is what we do, this is all that we do, we're not going to change, because particularly through this time, we've seen clients with their messages on their ads that they started before COVID-19 started, we've had to go in and adjust their messages because you've got to feel the room, feel the vibe, feel what people are feeling, and what you were saying 2 months ago might not be appropriate now, might not really meet people where they're at. We've really changed in a way that, you know, if you think it's going to be business as usual once this is over, it's not. And so we need to really think long term now about how we're going to meet this new market. And some really positives that have come out of it is looking at bike shops. And I was talking with a client a couple of years ago who was really struggling because they said, you know, since the advent of gaming, kids aren't getting out on bikes anymore, and this is an industry that's really struggling. Well, through COVID-19, bike sales have skyrocketed because it's that one piece of freedom that we do have is the ability to get out once a day and exercise with our families. And I know that because prior to COVID-19, I was out every day exercising, and on my early morning run, I'd have the street to myself. But now it's like peak hour on the Thames. You know, literally every man and his dog is out because that's that one freedom that we still all do have. And who would have thought Sorbent, you know, their sales will be skyrocketing this year. And so I think, you know, getting ready to embrace change at any given moment and seeing this season that we are indoors more, we're not able to move around as much. This is actually our chrysalis. This is an incubation time. This isn't, a stealing of all the things that we love. This is about reevaluating what's really important, and really, you know, looking at this as an opportunity to reskill, to upskill. I've never seen so many free courses online. So take advantage of that. And if you have a heart project that you haven't had time to think about, this is a great time to have a play around with it. And I think people are really accepting of that we're all green at this whole new season. And I think if we look at one great example is churches, you know, one of the most ancient, creations on earth, and the way that they have embraced change. And they've gone from speaking to maybe 100 people on a Sunday morning to reaching thousands of people around the world through live streaming and, all the technical glitches that go along with that. But I think we've all learned to be accustomed to, you know, everything doesn't go perfectly to plan. So let's just embrace it, be kind to each other. So now's the time to experiment and try new things.
There's a lot of good stuff that you're giving there, and I think people should come back and make sure that you go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page because you can listen to this again, because Annette's shared so much great ideas there. Keep in mind what she was saying. This is an idea that you can actually affect change right here and now. There may be things such as people needing to get out there and sell bikes because people need it right now. There could be that chrysalis idea that Annette shared, that people are preparing for the future, whether they're wanting to do a course now or thinking about education in the future. We've equally seen things like people looking at home improvements. There's so much locked down. They're looking at the walls of their home thinking, we really could do with a coat of paint. We really could do with a patio. We really could do with an air conditioner. So I don't think we can lose heart that although there's a lot of tragedy that's happening, both in the deaths associated with COVID, as well as job loss, there's equally a lot of opportunity in terms of the way in which we'll grow and change. So don't lose sight of that. Let's very quickly go and have a look at Blue Box Media's website so that you've got an idea of exactly how you can get in touch with Annette. I'll quickly pop that over there. And also remember that you can join us in the Business Thrival Mastermind group. I'm sure that Annette will be there afterwards if you want to touch base. So join us on Facebook and we'll find out more. Tell me, when I come to your website, Annette, what are some of the key things that I should be looking for in terms of services you can offer?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, if you're a small to medium business and you want to be seen and be heard, well, that's what we do. That's my jam. So however you would like to be seen, and you might not even know, you think, a lot of people that contact us, they're like, we know we need to build our online presence. We know we need to be, better at our advertising. We really don't know where to start. So maybe the first place to start is the contact button and start a conversation with us about how we can help you. But if you'd like to see some examples of things that we've done, you can have a look at our gallery, some of the websites that we've built, some of the videos that we've produced. That really, my heart is that I'm a writer, and I love working with my clients to help them tell their stories, because really that's what it's all about. And a great quote from I think it's La La Land was, people love what other people are passionate about. And I love helping businesses and organisations share what they're passionate about and reach people with their messages.
That's absolutely brilliant. My son's a film student and he's absolutely mad on La La Land. So you've got extra brownie points going in for there. So well done for squeezing that one in. One of the things that we're doing, and Annette would be doing with their clients, is that we're making available the opportunity for you to check in. At the moment, now is the time to check in. Find out what you can do now. Find out what you should be planning to do. But doing nothing is a decision, and it's not necessarily a good one. And what are some of the kind of checklist items that you're working through with your clients, some of the things that you're helping them review right now?
Yeah, well, when clients come and say to me, we want to, look at an advertising campaign, let's get started. The very first thing I do is, well, let's look at your online presence, because your website is the first impression that people are going to have of you. And it's also going to affect your quality score in Google Ads, in Facebook, and therefore how much you're paying per ad. So it's really important to start at ground zero. And that is making sure that your website is going to perform well. It's going to make a good impression. It's going to make people want to engage with you. And also working that in with all the messaging that you have out there at the moment. We want to make sure there's consistency, that brand consistency. People know who you are, they associate who you are. And then let's look at, through your budget, what's going to be the best, most effective, most cost-effective way to reach your audience so that you can be seen and be heard and get your message across to the right people.
I was talking to a lady last week and she said, I really do need to update my website. And when we were talking, her concern was that it was about 4 to 5 years old. On review, it was actually 8 years old.
Yeah.
Now, we actually recommend clients consider changing their website about every 3 to 4 years. Technology changes, your business messaging changes.
Yeah.
And so we've really got to be on the forefront. And as you say, this is the digital front that people see to your business. In the old days, they might have driven past your business, had a look at the way in which your front window was positioned, whether you had flaking paint and things. And that was the sense of how successful or how reliable you might be as a business. Now your website is giving you that goodwill in the marketplace, isn't it?
Yeah, it builds excellence equals credibility. And so we need to analyze your website and say, is this presenting excellence to people who, and really what Google wants to see is your website answering the question that people are asking when they're typing a question into the search bar. That's really, Google's a brand themselves, so they want to protect their brand by sending people to websites that make them look good. So is the content on your website quality? Is it providing the information that your potential clients need, that they're going to want to stick around on your website, engage with other elements, and that they're going to want to make contact with you to find out more about how you can help them?
I want to close on just one aspect of this thriving and change. How do we as business owners keep ourselves focused? Because it can be one thing to focus on all the things happening in the business, but what about ourselves? Is there any advice you've got in that area?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, because being a working mum, I usually work from home. So I can go all day without seeing another business person interacting. And as a creative, we really thrive in think tanks. And, I love freelancing at different radio stations and hanging out with the creative team and bouncing ideas. And you don't have that when you're at home. So I'm actually an expert in self-isolation. So I really find I start my day with my exercise, getting out of the house, going for a walk, getting in amongst nature. There's nothing that builds creativity and a sense of well-being like getting out amongst nature, enjoying creation, getting those creative juices flowing, getting those happy endorphins flowing. And I think also, even though we are at home, get dressed for the day. Don't hang out in your pajamas all day. You got to, I mean business. So, I'm even though I'm hanging out at home, I'm dressed for my day of work. I'm getting into the right mindset. Set yourself some to-do lists for the day so that by the end of the day, you have a sense of accomplishment. You've actually done something today. Because often, especially when you're working from home and you've got kids and we're about to start homeschooling and all those sorts of fun things that this new season has brought, you can get to the end of the day and go, what on earth did I achieve today? But if you've got that to-do list, there's such a sense of achievement of just ticking off some things. Make sure you drink coffee at the top so you've ticked something off before your day starts. You feel really good about yourself.
Cheers.
Yeah, well done.
Annette, you've been absolutely wonderful and some really great ideas there. So please, I encourage you to check out Blue Box Media. Talk to Annette and Phil about your marketing needs and find out exactly what's going on within your business right now. There's no point putting this off. You've either, as Annette said, got things that you can achieve right here and now, or you've got the opportunity to be in that chrysalis stage. And are you ready to come out in 2 or 3 months, ready to face the world? So there's a lot of planning to be done. Well, Annette, we will continue to keep in touch, and thank you for joining us on the Morning Kick.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, wasn't that brilliant? We really got some great ideas there. Now, as we see on the screen here, it's time for you to review, to think, and act. Make sure that you take care of those 3 stages, and you'll find that you actually are moving in the right direction. Well, one of the things we've been talking about how you can review is the Thrival plan that Excite Media has put together. So just for a moment, let's have a very quick look at what's available to you there. So if you go to the Excite Media website, excitemedia.com.au, and if you simply put the word /Thrive on the end of it, you'll end up on this page. Now, here is a checklist that you can download, free to copy, free to share, and it just gives you a framework. We went through it last Friday, so if you ever look at Friday's YouTube or Facebook video, you'll get a sense of exactly what's in the Thrival Kick. But if you'd like to, just click on free instant access. You'll be able to download it and you'll be away. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to be back tomorrow having a talk to 2 guests, Annette and Cam from the Cortex Group. Look forward to joining you then tomorrow morning on the Morning Kick.